pause for a moment with me and think about that one thing that really lights you up. Now hold it. Think of it. I know you have it. All right. Now, how long has it been there? See, it never goes away. Welcome to Wandering the Wild Mess with Heather Morgan. I am so happy you're here. All right, I'm really excited to talk to you guys about what you probably just realized is there's something in your life that truly lights you up. So when I asked the question, what truly lights you up? There's something that came to your mind. There's something that you felt in your soul like that's the thing. Whether it's creating art, whether it's whatever. We all have that thing. And a lot of times it starts really young. It's just been the one thing that when we're doing it, it just feels right in our life. And I want to reflect on something because I found an email recently that kind of brought this up. And I felt like if I found this email that I totally forgot I ever written or had, then it was some kind of a sign for me to say someone else is probably feeling this way about a point in their life where they thought that that thing that lights them up would be the thing that they would still be doing or would have a bigger impact or a part of their life. And it's kind of been tabled and pushed to the side. And I'm here to remind you that if it's truly something that was planted in your heart for you, the seed is planted, but it's up to you to water it. But it's not going away. It's not going to leave. It's still there, right? And I like to think of this analogy about sometimes in our lives we have these dreams, but we're not always ready to take the path that leads us there. And that will circle back to my email from 2011, where a younger me was so excited to go to LA and go to this ASCAP songwriting conference. And I was like, I have been writing my whole life. I love to write. Literally since I can remember, I have just wanted to sit and write. And like, I love music. Music's always been a big thing for me. So I remember just writing songs all the time. I remember like we didn't have any instruments. My grandparents had a piano, but anyways, I would write all these songs and sometimes I would forget the tune that I would write them to. So then I would just start making them into poetry because that way I could like read it and it would sound good. And like one time I remember in 7th grade, there was like this poem that went around the school that I wrote about this boyfriend that kissed another girl. Like this is the level of like sharing my poetry I was doing at that age. I love to write about experiences. And I think I've talked about this before. Like I've been able to track back to so much of my life. I always like to write, but I feel like I never was like, oh, well, maybe I should write. I mean, I thought maybe I should write a book, but that just seems like everyone says that. Who's going to do that? Whatever. Well, anyways, back to 2011, I had decided that I was going to go and see what like songwriting was about. And again, I grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah. I didn't know any songwriters. I didn't know really that many people that were writers in general. It was just like a thing that I had wanted to do. And so I'm like, I'll go out there. I feel like, you know, the people I know, they say my songs are pretty good. I'll just give it a whirl. Like, of course. So I'm hyping this up. I'm like telling all the people I know, like, this is going to be so cool. Like I'm doing this thing, yada, yada, yada. And I think I mentioned this before, but I thought like I also have been writing so much that I just think in rhymes so I could freestyle rap, which I literally, not kid you, thought that every songwriter could freestyle rap for whatever reason, because I just thought like if you could write a song you thought in poetry, like I really didn't know. This is, again, me not being around a lot of writers, me just only knowing my own experience. So anyways, I digress on the topic, but I want to tell you this story. So I scrape the money up, fly to LA, and go to the songwriters conference. And I remember, this is back in 2011, at the time we're in this room and they have all these songwriters that are like, I remember Fergie was there. There was some other people, but at the time, Chris Stapleton was actually there, which is like crazy because I still have a video and it is old. And I had never heard of him. He was not like mainstream. I think he was in his previous band, but I had never even heard of him. And I remember he sang, and if I've told this a little bit before, but I just remember he sang Whiskey and You. And I was like, what is this man doing being a songwriter? He's an artist. Like, it was insane. And it was like one of the first times where I really remember like observing someone else's talent in so much awe that it was like amazing, but also like, oh yeah. I definitely, I could be a songwriter, but like, that's the most amazing. Like that's what a songwriter's like. Like, how could I? And the whole time I remember I just met so many amazing people, so many talented people. And I had met this one girl. It was like the whole weekend long. And she was amazing. She was going in as a country artist. She was so sweet. She had performed. There was a couple of sessions where some people would perform their songs or got them played, and we kind of critiqued. And then it was experts talking about, the theory of song and all that kind of thing. And so she went, she shared her song and we talked, and I was like, I love it. I have this song I wrote that I think you would be like the perfect fit to sing it. And I really like it. I think you would really like it. And so her and I talked, we did some lunch, and she's like, so what's your whole plan with this? And I was like, I don't know. I just want to, and this is just me wide-eyed excited. And I'm like, I just kind of want to go all in on like writing. She's like, do you want to go all in though? And I was like, well, kind of. She's like, I don't think you could live in Utah. And I was like, yeah, probably not. And she's like, you'd probably have to move to LA or New York or maybe Nashville. And I was like, oh yeah, which I was like, I wasn't really even thinking about moving. And then she said something I'll never forget. She was like, you kind of, it's all or nothing. You kind of have to go all in if you want it to work. Like, not everyone can make it. It's the people that go all in that make it. So if you're not ready. And I was like, oh yeah. Yeah. And I don't blame her for that. I think that there's a lot of truth to that, honestly. But I think it's just that fear in you when you're like, well, like I have to go all in and I don't even know how I'm ever going to even make it because there's all these talented people and then me. So I went back to my hotel room in LA that night, and I was just like literally in awe of the magic that was the talent that I was surrounded by. But then I like creeped in with all of this like doubt of like, what are you doing here, Heather? You're like not even half as talented as all these people. They all are like great. They have great voices. They're really good, musicians. They've been writing a lot longer than you. They went to school for it, like every single thing in the book. And I swear it didn't take me very long to realize that I didn't know what that would look like for me. So I just felt overwhelmed with like doubt. And so I flew back home, and I remember everyone's asking, like, literally, these people like they don't know anything. So they're like, oh, did someone pick up your song? Like, what, like, tell us all. Like, it was just going to be some like, show. And I'm just like, oh, I don't know. It was great, but like, I don't know. And I don't even remember what I said other than that was the day I made the decision, like, corporate's my path. And I took the safe path. It was like I was standing there with plan A, which I've said before is like what your soul wants. And plan B is the path that you take because it fits the safety net of what society has told you. And it came flooding back to me when I was going through past emails. I talked about in an earlier episode about like cutting energetic ties. So I was deleting a lot of old emails, and I found one where I had written this girl when I got back. I didn't even remember. And I just said, hey, I met you in LA. I love, what you're doing with your music. And I would love to share a song with you if you're open to it still, et cetera, et cetera. And she responded and was like, yes, it was great to meet you. Send over the song. Do you have it like this, this, and this? Which I didn't, I don't even, she wanted it this way. And I literally had it. It was not a fully produced song by any means. And so I was like, I just never wrote her back. I just never wrote her back. And I took the safe path and worked in corporate America, living the dream. And I'm laughing only because now the point of all of this for you to take is that, and now here I am, let's say, what are we, like 14, almost 15 years later, and I'm exiting corporate America, which was my safe path, which is what my chosen path was because it felt like the right thing to do. But now my soul, my real purpose, the thing that lit me up is calling me again and saying, we don't really want to take the safe path anymore. It's not what we want to do. It's not what we came here to do. I'm kind of getting emotional because that's kind of crazy to say out loud. And I think why? Gosh. I think why is because there's a part of you that knows what really lights up your soul and knows that you're not doing it. And the very thought of you doing the thing that lights you up, it like excites that younger you that always wanted to do that all along. But it also scares them. It's kind of like, are we sure we can do it now? We said we couldn't do it before. Y'all, I have unpacked this so much, so I don't know why I'm getting so emotional. But I think it's because I feel so called, because I know what it feels like to be so excited to chase a dream and then table it because you don't know how you're going to get there. And the crazy thing is I still don't know how. It's not like I've uncovered some exact path to success where I know it's proven and it will all just work out exactly how I'm envisioning it because the plan is rock solid. Like, I don't know. But I know that not trying, and I don't even want to call it trying because I don't want to say anything I wouldn't tell you. So it's not trying, you're doing it. You're not trying. And I don't want to know what not doing it looks like anymore. Because I've already sat in that place for so long, and I'm not guilting myself or you into not taking, your soul's path, the what lights you up path the first time that you had that idea. But what I'm here to remind you is that it will loop back. That path will come back. That seed that's been planted will continue to ping at you and want to grow. Because it's part of what you came here to do. I truly believe that. It's planted in your heart for a reason. And no judgment if you never take that path. But I want to remind you that if it's in your heart, it's there for a reason, and I'm sure that you can do it. And it may just not look as stable when you're walking across the bridge, right? Like it's almost like a cement path that you could still fall off, but it's pretty stable. Or you could take, the wobbly bridge with a couple planks out, and just trust that either way you're going to get across, but it's going to be a lot more fun and a lot more adventurous going on the one that wobbles a little on the way. The one that has the view that you're excited to look at every day. Not the one that has back-to-back traffic and a blazer. Nothing against blazers, but I mean, I'm wearing a tank top for once, y'all. If you're watching on YouTube. But anyways, it's just one of those things that I felt called to remind that when there's something that lights your soul up that much, it's probably a path you should think about considering. And maybe I'm saying this to myself because I know that, my stable concrete path is ending, and I'm really diving into wherever this all takes me. Written words, songs, stories. I just have always wanted to be a storyteller and to make people feel something with my words and my writing. And I wrote something that I found a long ago because I would blog on and off for so many years. And I remember my happiest moments, even when, during my marriage, there would be times where I would just tell my husband I was going to the coffee shop, and I would just sit there and write. I'd get my coffee, and they had this white chocolate macadamia nut cookie, and I would literally pretend like I was at some Paris cafe, like writing my heart out on this blog that everyone was reading. Because that's what lit me up. That's what I wanted to do. And I want to give that to myself again. I want to give every opportunity that I took away because I was too scared. And just say, I'm not scared anymore. Clearly, duh. Or I see the fear, but I'm going that way anyways. And because I feel like younger me deserves that. And that's when I'm most happy. And I feel like giving that to myself is giving the world just such a more happy, positive version of me, which I think everyone I encounter is deserving of. So gosh, y'all, I did not intend to be crying on this podcast episode. I was already, I don't know what it is. It was just the lunar eclipse. So I feel like, it's 999. Just so, I know I'm not dropping it right. It's already passed, but just for anyone that makes sense to, hear me out. There's a lot going on in the sky. And so my woo-woo's showing. But basically, going on all your dreams is where I'm headed. And I want that to hit your heart if it's meant to. And this is coming off me and I've talked about like a lot of inner work I've done. And as part of that inner work, I've really re-examined a lot of my limiting beliefs. And because of that, I think this is coming up because I'm realizing that I don't know if the word owe it to myself, but I want to give it to myself, the opportunity to go all in on the things that light me up. And I would love that for you too. So remember that it always circles back. It doesn't leave. It's literally like a deep rooted. If you've ever tried to pull roots out of like the ground, like when you're weeding or you're like, I was just redoing my garden and trying to get some of those roots out, they are deep. So if something is rooted in your heart that lights you up that you really want to do, it's going to be there for probably the rest of your life. So at some point, you're going to have to maybe scratch that itch. And if you don't, that's okay. But I'm pretty excited about doing that for me. And I'm excited for y'all to be here on this journey with me. as we figure it out as we're wandering the wild mess because we don't really know. And literally when I thought that I was cleaning up myself and getting a little less messy and really being like introspective and being like, okay, I'm not just in the messy middle. I have it together. I realize it's always going to feel like wandering the wild mess to some degree because I can't control and plan everything like the previous version of me used to try to want to so badly. And so I'm forever wandering. I'm forever wild because this mind of mine is everywhere and things get messy and that's okay. We clean them up. We figure it out. It all works out. So I'll end this with reminding you that you can get my free inner work guide. It's in the show notes and also on my website, wanderingthewildmess.com. It's free and it's literally just for you to start thinking. So sometimes that's a good place to start when you're trying to find yourself out. If this is feeling something or bringing something up in your heart. And then the other key thing I want to remind you is your dream isn't dead. It's patient. It's patient with you. So whenever you're ready, the dream is still there. You can go after it now or later or never. The choice is yours. Thanks for listening to Wandering the Wild Mess with Heather Morgan. You matter.